So today's topic, you might have guessed, is AI-enabled meeting spaces. So we'll be talking about AI, but we'll be talking about it from a little bit of a different lens. So what I want to talk about with regards to AI and the meeting space is walking us there and how we've gotten through to where we are today and where we're going in the future. So at Lenovo, we're delivered smart technology for all, and the real focus here is that we're not just developing technology for tech's sake. It's not because we can, it's because we want to make sure that we're improving the quality of our experiences across our customers and our ecosystem partners to create really reliable solutions that deliver impactful results across all kinds of different experiences, whether that's you at your home office, you in a shared meeting space, or an ecosystem like a collaboration suite or an ideation space. All of those spaces require smarter technology, and we're enabling those through human outcomes and doing that through the scale that we have as Lenovo and also preparing the way for the future. So with 180 different markets that we serve, we're a large organization. We've got 30 plus manufacturing sites all across the globe so that we can be flexible when there's certain scenarios like tariffs that happen. So we can be flexible in that regard. But we're also investing heavily in AI and what that means for the future. And that supply chain that we're working with, we're consistently rated at the top 25, according to Gartner. And this is all about creating technology that is available, technology that is next generation, technology that supports the direction that we're going as an industry. So we're here at a great show. There's technology everywhere. We're going to talk a little bit about how each of those play into the effect. So with regards to what we're doing in this space, anybody know the difference between Formula One and MotoGP? You can shout it out if you want, other than 2 wheels versus 4. Okay, so part of what we do with our customers is we work directly with our customers on a lot of innovative things. There's some things that we can't talk about that are done in the super secret engineering lab at Ducati, but really what we're talking about with F1 and MotoGP is if you have an F1 car going around the track, you have tons of data being generated on that car, sensors everywhere, tons of data, live telemetry. With MotoGP, that bike is out there on an island. There's no live telemetry happening with that bike. Same number of sensors per wheel, I suppose, but there's a similar number of sensors and a similar number of information that's gathered. But what happens with that, and what we worked really closely with Ducati to do, was create some really efficient ways of, when that bike pits, connecting up to it, pulling all of that data off of it, creating an analysis of what is happening on that bike, and then delivering new settings to that bike all in seconds. So it's a high degree of data processing, a high degree of analytical decision making, and a high degree of information sent back to the bike so that turn by turn, that bike can be set up differently for each turn so it's most impactful as it's moving around the track. So those are some of the things that are happening in that tech space. We're having some fun with that. With Aston Martin, another example of that with the co-innovation that we're doing together is Aston Martin's done a fantastic job of educating us on how airflow impacts cooling, and some of the unique things that we've done with our high-end workstations leverage some of the innovation that we've gotten from working together with our customers. Now, if we talked about just large ecosystem partners and large enterprise customers all day, that would not be as much fun. But what we're doing is we're taking all of that learning and we're taking all of that experience and also making it available to our neighborhood partners, our small to medium businesses. So this is something I'm super proud of. We spend a lot of time with a lot of small businesses, and the key stat on this one is we're providing 750 plus hours of mentorship, bringing those learnings down to the small to medium business and your neighborhood community partners, impacting those environments as well. So we're truly creating smarter technology for all and sharing those learnings across so that we, as humanity's experiencing tech, are creating better outcomes for everybody. So switching gears a little bit back over to the original topic, AI and productivity. We're seeing a lot of changes in the space. We're seeing from the pocket to the cloud different ways of accessing those information sets. We're seeing different ways of accessing AI engines and agents and small language models, large language models, things like that. We're seeing all of these things happening at a very rapid pace. We're seeing a lot happening at a very compressed time frame. Just the past 2 years has been really impactful from an AI perspective. We've seen a tremendous amount of growth in this space, and there's a lot of nuance and a lot of unknown that we're still working through as an industry. So when we look at how Lenovo approaches this, we recognize that our role in this is to provide the best infrastructure and the best way to experience these solutions and work with our partners to create AI experiences and support AI across a number of different language models and different foundation models. So with that, we have to kind of break it out. We have to break out AI into more than just ChatGPT or DeepSeek or OpenAI or whatever it is. We've got to break it out into more than just the chat experience that we're all probably familiar with. Anybody here using chat, whether it's Copilot or OpenAI or anything on a daily basis? Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much all of us. We're experimenting with it. We're getting to know it. Some of us see it as an assistant. Some of us see it as a living and breathing encyclopedia that'll tell me anything I need to know and be interactive about it. It's a great learning tool, but we're all still kind of seeing that as the expression of AI. But a lot more is happening. So that's a large language model. So a large language model is a public model. So that's something that's based off of a massive data set and can provide generalized summaries. There are small language models that can be performing more acute tasks and more specific tasks that allow you to be more effective and impactful at the enterprise level. So think of that as kind of behind the firewall. A company might have a smaller data set that we're using AI to act on, and what we're getting out of that is much more targeted and specific results. So those are language models, and those are largely text-based, but action models are another thing. So a large action model allows you to aggregate a tremendous amount of information and take action on that. And that's happening in robotics, that's happening in automation, building systems and building information. We're seeing that happen there. But we're also seeing small action models, and that's some interesting things where you'll see some examples of that on the show floor where, take, for example, tuning an audio system. It used to be kind of a rules-based algorithm where we set up a rule and said, hey, if you hear this sound, adjust this EQ or adjust this frequency. But what we're doing now is we're sending pulses out into the room. We're gathering all of that data about the acoustic properties of the room and how that's actually functioning. And then that is training the model to change the tuning system of that device to create a better action out of that. So it's a better audio experience by result of a small action model. So those are some of the things that we're seeing as well on the enterprise side and on the public side, but we're also seeing it at the personal level. We're all starting to adapt to a world which AI is involved, and large language models and small language models are part of our everyday life with meeting summaries and things of that nature. So we're all developing our own personal experience there, and that's our digital twin that we're starting to develop, and that's the personal AI side of it. So the reason I bring all of this up is because we want to make sure that we're understanding that AI is a big set of two letters, but it's not what we think it is in its entirety. We want to see AI grow into all of the areas of our life where we're not talking specifically about AI, but about those enabled experiences that are a result of AI. So with all of that, we do need to have a wide array of infrastructure topologies and a wide array of devices and networks infrastructure and data centers, et cetera, that support this AI-enabled future. Again, this is not just about a laptop that has more processing power to do more chatbot-type experiences. This is about creating a technology infrastructure that allows all of us to create new apps, new agents, new AI experiences that allow us to be more productive as humans and more connected too. So to that end, Lenovo's focus has been on the hardware and software side, creating the widest portfolio of AI-enabled solutions from the personal laptops and personal mobile devices, all the way up to the shared meeting rooms and to the data centers. We have AI-enabled devices across this entire ecosystem to support this, because really we're at a spot in this industry and in AI as a whole where we're kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks and what's really going to be effective long-term for AI. We're learning how to work together and develop models and develop action models that do specific things. We're learning how to do all of these things. And so that's why we focused on expanding our portfolio to be the widest array of AI-ready and AI-enabled devices that support those working sessions, that support those experiences, and give you access to those technologies as they become available. So, looking further, we're seeing a little bit more about what's happening in meeting spaces in those rooms. So AI is driving a lot of innovation in meeting rooms. I talked a little bit just a minute ago about small action models and an audio example. We're seeing that in the video space as well, with different equitable experiences coming forward. This is really driving a lot of future innovation in this space. We've seen the ability to improve audio quality just by virtue of using new learning-based algorithms as opposed to old rule-based algorithms. So we're seeing a lot of change in this space, and it's driving a lot of new innovation that you'll see on the show floor. We're also seeing business leaders look at NPUs as an investment for the future, and this is really based on what I talked about with small models. So private, enterprise, those models, they're not something that's going to be publicly accessible, which means they have to be accessed in a different manner. So we're seeing edge devices be a large part of that. And that's also, for example, if you think about Microsoft Copilot, the work versus web function. Web would be public, work would be private. Those are things that are going to be happening in different areas. And so NPUs, which is a technology in the processing of these devices, allow you to do more efficient processing at the edge, at that local device. We're also going to be seeing meetings shift from unimodal, which is, again, just one source of AI, to multimodal, which is the ability to reason over text, reason over images, reason over audio that's heard in the room, reason over reactions and things like that. We're going to be seeing a shift from that. Right now we're engaging AI kind of explicitly. I'm looking at this as a large language model. I'll interact with it as a chat. I'm looking at this image generation AI software, and I'm using that to generate images. Or perhaps some of you have created your own AI songs already. Things like that are possible right now, but those are very unimodal. Those are very focused. What we're going to be seeing over time and very soon is the aggregation of all of those different methods together in the same format so that they're all able to contribute to a meeting summary that is more impactful because it sees the whole picture as opposed to just the transcript. That's where we're going to see a lot of change over the next couple of months. So with all of the AI that's been out there, it's been out for 2 years now. We've seen a lot of adoption. We've seen a lot of this. I wanted to kind of bring it back into focus. So if we think of Amara's Law, which is kind of an easy way to look at this, we're kind of a we are here moment. We're overestimating. Amara's Law states that if you have a new technology that's introduced, the impact of that technology as humans, we perceive that as a linear impact. Today, tomorrow it's better, tomorrow it's better, tomorrow it's better, tomorrow it's better, tomorrow it's better. So we see that as a linear impact. But what's actually happening, and I talked about this with the spaghetti on the wall moment, is we're overestimating what it's capable of because we're still organizing as a large industry. It's not just audio video, it's not just IT, it's the entire technology industry. We're all organizing and figuring out how to work together with that hybrid infrastructure. Where is an appropriate use case for a small action model versus a large? Same thing with other foundation models. We're seeing a lot of questions being asked. But what's going to happen is we're going to quickly pivot to an organized technology that allows us to adapt at faster paces. We're going to see this turn into something more than we could even dream. So what's happening here is this is going to turn into something that Deloitte called out in their 2025 Tech Trends report. This is going to turn into more or less the way we look at electricity. We just expect it to work. It's just there powering all the things from the microphone I'm wearing today to the screen you're looking at to likely how you got here and possibly a hybrid vehicle. We just expect electricity to work, and we see so many applications of that today. It's become ubiquitous and it just makes life better. We're going to see the same thing happen with AI. We're going to talk less about AI as the world moves forward, and we're going to see its impact on our world in a more real way, in a more tangible way. Better patient outcomes, improving traffic flow in cities, providing more personalized experiences. That's what we're going to see. We're not going to proactively engage AI as much as AI becomes just part of the fabric of a better tomorrow. So with that, we've got a couple of things that are happening today. It's good to call out what we have today. We've gone from meetings that are recorded and you can watch at a later date to summarized meetings. You can join a meeting 5 or 10 minutes late and get a summary of what you missed, catch up real time, or if you're double or triple booked, no one's double or triple booked, right? You can pick which meeting that you need to proactively engage in and then go back and summarize the other meeting and spend another 20 minutes summarizing what was an hour-long conversation. So these are some of the things that are possible today. This is very impactful, and a lot of this is based on Windows-based solutions for Teams rooms and Zoom rooms, as well as Chrome-based solutions for Google Meet. So we're seeing a lot of these things happen. We're moving from just recording the meeting to making it accessible and available and consumable. And there's other things on this slide as well, the audio intelligibility, inclusive meeting experiences, cues that allow you to raise your hand, join the conversation, and as you start speaking, your hand is lowered automatically for you. You don't have to do that automatically or do that manually. Those are some of the things that we're seeing from a productivity perspective. We're seeing a lot of this happen. So I want to encourage you that this is happening real time and at a very accelerated rate. So there's a lot of great examples on the show floor today. I invite you to stop by our booth and hear about what we're doing in this space as well. But it's very exciting. Here's a specific example. A ThinkSmart Core Gen 2 full room kit. So this is experiencing the NPU-enabled compute and controller, which gives you access. That's like the engine that connects the room to the cloud platform, the Teams room, the Zoom room, et cetera. That's the engine that's connecting all of that. And we have a certified device ecosystem that we can work with, and we've created some full room kits that allow you to have a single SKU that gets put out at a meeting room and includes the compute and the control, the audio and the video. And what this is giving you is access to the best of breed, the ability to digitize a physical whiteboard and create content that can be joined into the meeting, the ability to have intelligent speaker and speaker recognition, the ability to understand who said what in a meeting instead of conference room 1, 2, 3 said a whole bunch of things. Making sure you're able to break that out and have more actionable insight out of that. We're seeing a lot of this become possible now with the ThinkSmart Core Gen 2 and the full room kit. But the ThinkSmart Core Gen 2 can be used across any room size. So that same level of capability can be adapted to the certified device ecosystem to have AV devices that are appropriate for medium meeting rooms, large meeting rooms, high impact spaces, divisible spaces. It's not just a curated small or medium meeting room. You can have this enabled in all meeting room sizes, and the scale and the ease of deployment has dramatically improved, a lot due to the work that's been put in behind the scenes to make things work better with ThinkSmart Starts services, with our enterprise-grade warranty, with autopilot and things of that nature. There's a lot of new tools available to make that easier for you. All right, so let's get into the weeds for just a second, and then we'll resurface and close it out here. So I talked about NPU earlier. That stands for Neural Processing Unit. So most of us know that a computer has a CPU, or a centralized processing unit. Most of us know that. Most of us also know that it has a GPU to handle some of the graphics load and whatnot. But what most people are still trying to figure out is what exactly is an NPU? So that Neural Processing Unit, just to give all of you an understanding of that, is the most power efficient way to run AI heavy workloads. So as we're talking about devices that are personal, laptops, we need to factor in battery life. An NPU is going to give you the best ability to process AI on that laptop without negatively impacting your battery life. In a shared meeting room environment, that's equally important because it gives you edge computing power that doesn't contribute to an overuse of electricity. We want to be good stewards of power consumption. And so these are devices that are on oftentimes 16 hours a day, sometimes more. And that NPU gives us the ability to process these new workloads in meaningful ways without causing a significant uptick in power consumption or other heat, thermal, things like that. So an NPU is a very important part of this, and what we've done with Core Gen 2 is we've picked a specific processor that allows us to have a dedicated CPU, GPU, and a dedicated NPU that allows for this, because as we look to the future, these are 3 to 5 year devices, and if we've seen AI change so much in the last 6 months, we want to make sure that we're preparing for the future, so we've specifically selected hardware that supports that future in the meeting space. So with that, we have Premier Support, which is the industry-leading support for compute in your conference rooms and meeting spaces. It's the same level of industry-leading support that is our top-shelf support for all of our workstations, all of our compute products. So this is a high degree of reliability, a high degree of support, and a high degree of uptime. We're able to do that with the Lenovo's Premier Support and the warranty that we include out of the box. When we look at flexibly connecting content, these devices, the Core Gen 2 I talked about, let's say your meeting that you're going to have isn't a Teams meeting or a Zoom meeting. Let's say it's a Slack Connect, or maybe it's something else, maybe it's a WebEx meeting, things like that. We can use a laptop to drive that meeting room because we support BYOD, or bring your own device, or bring your own meeting. We support that natively with the Core Gen 2. So it has the reliability of the Think brand, but you have the flexibility of using the dedicated room system or using a laptop that comes in to drive that meeting. So you have that flexibility there. You also have flexibility in terms of how you share your content. You can share it wirelessly through the meeting. You can share it wired through an HDMI connection from your laptop to the system, or USB-C. And you can do that from a number of different locations to support standard meeting rooms as well as high impact spaces with matrix video switching for content sources. Additionally, we have consistent productivity features because, again, anchoring the rooms on this centralized core and controller gives you the ability to build out the room with a peripheral that makes sense, but still have the centralized capabilities of what Windows can provide in the Microsoft Teams world and the Zoom world, and those Copilot features and Zoom Companion, giving those productivity features to your users at scale and making sure that you've got the right audio and video adapters for that space to make it work properly. And lastly, the audio and video side. What happens a lot is Lenovo's known for our trusted compute side. We're the #1 Teams compute out there for Windows. And what we're known for in that space, we're not necessarily known for on the audio and video side. And that's where the certified device ecosystem comes in. So we have partners all across the space. Microsoft has a certified device ecosystem program, so does Zoom. And you're able to get those certified devices to natively work and trust with a ThinkSmart core and controller because of that certified device ecosystem. So you get all the productivity features of that, and you get to adapt the room to whatever audio and video experience is appropriate and necessary for that room, whether you prefer center of table cameras, or you prefer multiple outside-in cameras, or if you prefer one camera at the front of the room, you have those options to select to create that video experience you want in that room without losing any of the productivity and the manageability features. So with that, I'll close it out. I'll thank you for your time here today. Enjoy the show. AI is everywhere. Try to find it and not use the words AI.